Hello guys, welcome back. Red here, and today we are talking about the mummy in Iratus, Lord of the Dead. And this is the third character in our current build, and our build that we are doing is a full zero wrath, full stress, or full dread build. As you can see, his dread is pretty good. His physical is okay. His accuracy is pretty good. His evasion's pants. His luck is alright. He's got no armor and he's got no magical resistance. But he does have two blocks and he does have one ward, which is pretty awesome. And at the minute, his initiative is quite low. Now, the reason for that is because I didn't pick up these 2 points. They should have been 7, but I was more interested in that. And so that does slow him down, but I don't have any items on him at the minute. So I'll be looking to get 3 points when I start get him uncommon and rare and legendary items on him. So that's where I'll be keeping my eyes out for when I make those items, because we need to get him up to 8. 8 is the magic number, and I talk about that in the Iratus video as well. Okay, so I've got the soul gem on him, which gives him +3 dread because this is a dread build, and I've got the 2 initiative on him, which pumps him up to 5 because his base initiative is not very good. The beauty of the mummy is he's a pretty decent frontline dread dealer, and he's a pretty decent backline physical attack dealer. But we're not interested in his physical attacks. If you're going to do a physical build, he's pretty good at the back because he's got a pretty decent pull, and his damage is not too bad. And let's have a look at the way I've set him up. So on the first line we've got Curse in Touch, and Curse deals 50% stress damage or dread damage, and curses the target. Oh, thank you very much. And he curses the targets for 2 turns, dealing an additional 50% every turn. So it's a bit of a bit of damage over time. And it's pretty good for finishing guys off because we're going for a dread build. Getting the guys down to 0 dread is good, but it's not going to kill them. And then obviously if we can get a dot on him, there's a good chance that on the next turn that they will die from that dot, and if he doesn't, then the next turn he has another good chance. So the dots are kind of like a finisher, so to speak. But the damage is like 50%, so it's not so bad. You can open up with that as well. And to the left, we've taken the left branch, and what this does is it puts a bit more damage on him. So it's giving him 2 dread, and we're getting 75% out of our dots. So the dots actually do more damage than the initial hit, and that's good. That's really, really good for the build that we're looking for. On the second line, we've got Clinging Wraps, and this is a physical attack. It deals 120% damage, which is good. And this is what I'm talking about. If you're going to put him on the back line, put him in the 3rd slot. He's quite good there. But for the front line, you can put him in 1 or 2. Now, I don't think he has a lot of... He does have a forward moving and a backwards moving ability. But he won't really be using this absorb curses. But and he does have any others? No, he doesn't. So he does have a forward moving ability. So if he gets moved around, you can move him forward. But from what I've played, generally he does move from the 1st slot. These two swap quite a bit, and then when he uses this dot, he moves forward. So the movement for him is not a massive deal. So this Clinging Wraps here. So it does 120 damage, and I'm not too bothered about the physical damage. The only problem with this is you can't cast in the first 2 anyway, so we probably won't be using it at all for this build. It gives him a +1 to a block, which is awesome, and it also does -20 luck for 2 turns, but since we won't be using it, there's no bother to us. If we were going to do a physical build, I would say go down the left tree and get that +3 to physical damage. I've got to mention, the good thing about the mummy is it does have a massive amount of HP. I think it's one of the highest that I've seen so far, stock. I think if you have a look at our Headhunter, for instance, he's only 85. So the mummy can take quite a bit of damage. If you have 2 mummies, I would imagine it would be quite awesome. But anyway, back to business. Impending Horror. This is a stress attack. It deals 60% damage to the chosen target and the enemy standing behind it. So it's kind of you can only cast her on the first two characters as well on the enemy's front line. It's pretty good. It does better damage than the dot, but it also does it to two guys. So we'll be alternating between these two really most of the time. Yeah, probably just these two most of the time. And if we branch off, he's got 2 dread and he ignores ward, which is handy as well. I remember that as well because I don't think this curse ignores ward. So if you see somebody with a ward on it and you're interested in doing a damage and not getting rid of the ward, then this one actually negates any ward spells that the enemy has on them, which is great. On the 4th line we have Absorb Curses, which removes all debuffs from allies. That's pretty good actually. This comes in handy. You do gain vigor for it, but health on this guy is not a massive deal. Other guys generally die first. He's usually the last to go if they die at all. But he does get 10 HP from it. And on the branch, the mummy gets +8 vigor for each debuff. And it does move him backwards when he casts this. So it's not something I use a massive amount. Not yet. I think on some dungeons like the elven dungeons there are quite a lot of debuffs, and I think the humans do a lot of debuffs as well, but it's not something I really used. More interested in doing damage than trying to negate it. On the 5th line we have the stress attack. It deals 50% damage to any of the characters in the line, which is great. That's really good because you can attack guys at the back. Deals additional 22 to 26 damage if the mummy has a debuff. So actually if you have a debuff it's better for you. Excuse me. It's better for your damage on this guy. And then if we branch off to the left, gives him +2 dread. And the mummy does, is that 50%? Yeah, the mummy does 75% instead of 50%. And deals an extra 22 to 26, so that hasn't changed. Just an extra 25% to the initial damage. That's good. That's exactly what we're looking for. And then on the 6th line, which doesn't really matter to us because we won't be using wrath skills because we run in a 0 wrath build. When I say 0 wrath, we're actually running a 100% wrath build because we want our wrath to get to 100% because Iratus has some buffs that help out quite a bit when the wrath is full. Amplify Curses. Stress attack that deals 200% 60 to 68 damage, which is awesome. Additionally deals 1 stress damage for each point of negative luck. Now because we're not using the luck debuffer, that luck part doesn't really matter to us because that's a front line, that's a back line physical attack. So you're not going to get any use out of that additional damage dealt, but the 200% is not bad. But you won't be if you are going to use a wrath spell on this build, you would probably use the Headhunter's wrath spell because the Headhunter has an awesome wrath spell which literally has got a 99% chance to kill an enemy. So I wouldn't use that one really. The Bride's is quite good, but the Headhunters is just amazing. So you want to save your wrath, and the Headhunters takes 40, is it 40? No, 80. It costs 80, so you need full wrath to cast that, but it comes in super handy. And I think the Headhunter is the last video I'm going to do for this build before I set off on my little adventure into the dungeon and do a bit of a playthrough. And that's pretty much it. On the branch you get, oh, that's the Headhunter. Let's go back to the mummy. On the branch, if you branch off to the right, you get +6 dread, which is super sweet, and that's great. And yeah, so there you go. I mean, I covered that already. He hasn't got any, this is stock as well, this is, by the way, so he hasn't got any purple items in him yet, so I'll be working on that after I fix my Banshee. Once I get this Headhunter up to level 7, I'll go through that build with you guys as well, and that'll be the next video. So if you want to see that video, don't forget to subscribe. I'm sorry, I have to say it. I apologize. Everybody says I hate it too, but it is a good way of going at my playlist and coming back later on, because obviously these videos are back to back. So go to the playlist, and take a little look. This is the third one, by the way. If you don't see the headhunter yet, just have patience. It'll be on at some point tonight. Okay, boys. The only thing that's left for me to say is take care, and I'll see you real soon.